In today's video, I wanted to try something different and fun. The Photomancy tool is a fun tool that was added to the game a while ago, and honestly I never paid much attention to it until pretty recently. And it actually turns out it can make for some very fun and creative pictures. So it got me thinking, how well could you recreate professional photography in Wizard101? Surely you can't get too accurate, but I wonder how far you can take the game's Photomancy option. So we're here today to find out. I have a handful of photographs that I've selected from Pinterest that I'm going to recreate in Wizard101. That being said, let's get into the first one. Looking at this picture, I think I know the perfect place to recreate it. The Sunken Palace house. Specifically this room. To get it more looking like the picture, I need to start thinking about wallpaper and tiles. To do this, I look at the wiki page that shows me every wallpaper and tile in the game. I end up deciding on the Imperial wallpaper and the grey pinwheel flooring. Next, we go to the bazaar to find some props. First of all, I'm buying this monkey portrait for the place of the painting. Next, I'm gonna buy this end table for the end table, this mirror to go under the painting, and this flower to go on the end table. Next, I pick out this robe that I think can work as a wedding dress look. I dye the dress silver, then dye some shoes that I already had in my inventory. For the hair, I wasn't the most sure of what to do, so I just used the Dragon's Wisp hairdo, which I already had in my inventory. I'm using this because it kind of looks like the hair is floating and underwater. I know it's the wrong color, but the game won't let you dye these hairdos, so we're just gonna take some creative liberty here. With that, we're ready to go home and get decorating. First, I'm going to put up the wallpaper and tile. Next, I'm placing the painting, the table, the plant, and the mirror. Time to say goodbye to Bubbles and get to taking pictures. I try a few angles, but they don't look quite right. So naturally I do what any wizard would do, and start dancing. This allows me to get a pose from my character that doesn't look quite as awkward as just standing still. And 3, 2, 1... It's perfect. Okay, so maybe it doesn't look exactly like the picture, but maybe next time we'll get closer. And I don't think this is too bad. I think we did pretty good for our first one. Looking at picture number 2, I decided to do this one in the Lifehouse. I figured this would be a good place to have a nature kind of scenery going on, so let's see how it turns out. Right now I'm just buying anything mushroom related. I find these brown mushrooms and buy quite a few of them, as they're perfect for the picture. I then get some trees to put in the background, and this is probably all I'm gonna need from the bazaar. I head to my Lifehouse and I find the perfect spot. I begin placing down trees, and then some brown mushrooms. I use the advanced move feature to slide the mushrooms lower into the ground, giving some variance between the different shrooms. I have this giant mushroom house item that was in my inventory, and I'm deciding to use it here. While there aren't any massive mushrooms in the picture, I think it still looks good once I turn it around and put it more into the ground. I add a little bit more foliage, move it around a bit, and then it's time to get Chief Nanners from the shared bank. Nanners is different from the cat in the picture, but he's just as good. With Nanners placed, it's time to take the picture. 3, 2, 1... While this one didn't turn out to look exactly the same as the reference picture, I think the pictures both give off the same general vibe, so I'm gonna count it as a win. For the third picture, we've got a very dark and spooky one, so I'm gonna go ahead and say we can do this one in the death house. Let's get to recreating. For the candle, the most important part, I grab it from Albert in Wizard City. I know it's a lit candle, but it's all we have to work with. It's quite a simple picture, so I think this is all we're gonna need. Time to head back home and find a spot. I end up using this corner spot in the basement area just because of how dark it is. I get the candle placed down and use the advanced move tool to adjust it some. While I could stop here, the original image puts a lot of emphasis on the smoke, so I decided to try to use this campfire item, which I know has a smoke particle effect. However, it ends up being too big and doesn't really work out. Then I remember the perfect item for this. I head to the bazaar and grab this incense plate. Going back, I set this right under the candle and adjust it some. I ditch my sick guitar, and now it's time to take the picture. I tried to adjust the angle so I only get one stack of smoke in the picture. And 3, 2, 1... This one turned out alright. The obvious difference being the candle is lit, but for what we had to work with, I think this one's pretty cute. Alright, here's our next picture. I think this one's gonna be fun because it's just objects in this picture, and I'm excited to see how well I can pull it off. First of all, I'm going to buy these blue bonnets for the flowers in the picture. The resemblance is honestly pretty striking. Next, I buy this singed book, which looks perfect for the blue book. Now I'm just buying a few different books to test them out and see how they look. Finally, I grabbed this newspaper to put on top of one of the books and make it look like it's white, since there aren't any white books available. I head to the death house again and find this cozy little spot overlooking the pool. Perfect place for the photo. First, I put the singed book down and see what the other books look like beside it. It quickly became apparent to me that these books are too small, and I would need to grab another singed book to make it look like the picture. So I ran back to the bazaar and grabbed another one. For some reason, I decided to work on the newspaper first when I got back. I slid it over the cover of the singed book to make it look like it was a white book, like in the picture. Next, I placed the flowers and tried to align them just right. Finally, I placed the other singed book, and we were ready to take the picture. Luckily, you can disable your character model when taking these pictures, making shots like these much easier. I do some quick adjusting, and 3, 2, 1, oh. 3, 2, 1. That's better. I'm honestly not quite sure if I like how this one turned out. I mean, maybe you could see the resemblance if you were shown the pictures side by side, but I think there's just too many details in the original picture to properly recreate in Wizard101. But who knows? Maybe there's a lot more potential here. I would love to see somebody try to recreate this and do a much better job than me, because I'm sure that's possible. I mean, look at it. This is going to be the 5th and final picture I do. This is actually one that I think is possible without using any housing items, so I'm going to try to take this in a location other than one of the houses. Let's see how well we can pull it off. To start, I found this neat little spot in Polaris in Forlorn Tag. It's a nice little clearing between some snowy trees, just like the picture. If I'm on this white stag mount, I'm able to take pictures of it facing forward without my wizard being very visible. So we're gonna do just that. Time to take the picture. 3, 2, 1. Easy. As simple as that. Photomancy doesn't have to be complicated to be fun. While yet again, this isn't super close to the original picture, I think they're close enough to each other in spirit. In conclusion, there are plenty of ways you can use Photomancy to be creative and have fun. I would love to see more Photomancy pictures come from this community. Imagine if KingsIsle were to take advantage of this and feature a Photomancy picture every week or something like that involving the community. I just think there's so much potential here that just hasn't really been taken advantage of. So if there's one thing I'd like you to take away from this video, it's experiment with Photomancy and have fun with it. Thank you so much for sticking through the video. And as always, see you later, Wizard Gators.